Okay, so here we are with Eric Lopez that lived during the economic crisis of 1976 to 1995, and we're gonna ask him some questions. The first question is, what do people did to earn money at the time?
Well, first of all, I was born in 1967. So by the time of the 1976, I was 9 years old. I remember that time, and all the after crisis in the 82 and the other ones 88 and 94, I believe. People, many persons lost their jobs. All enterprises try not to spend money and to earn money, so the economic evolution of the country became to slow down. So people try to spend less money, to work harder, to buy less things. It was kind of difficult. People didn't want to spend money in things that they were not too necessary, as food or clothes, or including education. They didn't want to spend money in colleges that charge for the education.
Okay. The second question is, what political circumstance existed at the time in the country?
Well, in 1976, there was a change of president. There, before 1976, there was the president Luis Echeverría Álvarez. Then he was from the pre-party politic. Then arrived José Lopez Portillo. At the time, but in 1970, there was a crisis as well. The dollar had a change with the Mexican peso for 12 and 50 cents for a dollar. As I remember, there was a crisis. The dollar go up about 24 pesos, something like today's price. And then in the 1976, there became another crisis. We had the devaluation. Is that the correct word? Devaluation. For about from 23, 24 to 30 or 50. Don't remember the exact number. Then, when in 1988 arrived Miguel de la Madrid Hurtado, he took the peso about in 50 pesos, something like that. And when he left, the dollar cost about 3,000 for a dollar, something like that. So it was difficult. It was hard to when you import products, you have to pay them in dollars. But when you have a crisis, the markets became crazy because you make your plans with a cost of a number of pesos, and the dollar it goes the double or 50 more percent. So it's very difficult to make plans for the economic developments and importing things. But otherwise, it's when you export something from Mexico to the foreign countries, you can get very much prices. You make very good. You sell a lot of products from Mexico.
Okay. Which economic consequences happen in mid and long term in the country?
We Mexicans, we are very used to suffer economic problems. There was stabilization during the period of Carlos Salinas de Gortari, who was a president. That was about in 1988 through 1994, as I remember. There was we had established economic in the country. The country opens to the markets, to the world. But for about your question, people suffer a lot. In the beginning, there was then we Mexicans became very strong. We became very used to suffer this crisis, and didn't last much. It was about a period of 2 to 3 years. So then we became to normal stabilization of the economic prices, and to get more jobs, and we export more. Then we can import to establish the balanza economic. How do you say balanza? La balanza económica del país.
What are the main social problems that happen derived to an economic crisis?
First of all, the loss of jobs, the loss of poder de adquisición, la pérdida del poder de adquisición of the families, the loss of economic trades between Mexicans and the foreign countries. When we have an economic problem, we export more products, but we cannot import because the dollar is very expensive. And when you pay in dollars, when you have a price here, for example, for lemons that cost 10 pesos, for example, that it's about 50 cents of dollar, and then you get into an economic crisis of devaluation of the peso, and it goes to 40 pesos, it costs 20 cents of dollar. So they buy more Mexican products because of the lowest prices. There is a double impact because for one side you lose a lot of jobs, but when you export a lot of things, you have to hire more persons to work in the things that the issues that matters the export of products. Services go down because people don't have money to pay for services, and that's a problem, social problem.
Okay, that was all for today's questions. Thank you so much for your time and information provided.
Great things.